Do you know why ZIM pays a dividend of about 70%? If you compare their market cap of about 2.8 billion with their net income, which is around 4.6 billion, you will say, wow, this is a bargain. Moreover, ZIM has 11.6 billion in assets, which is 4 times their market cap. Why don't people invest in ZIM? They probably haven't heard of ZIM, or they know something you don't know. If you want to understand how ZIM makes so much money, you have to look at their business model. ZIM offers shipping services around the world. They have different routes where they transport all kinds of goods. Now, the most important part of their business model is that they rent almost all of their ships. When demand is high, they rent more ships. When demand is low, they rent fewer vessels. How do I know this? Well, if you look at this image from the latest annual report, you can see that ZIM has in total 139 vessels, of which 9 are owned by ZIM, and the remaining 125 are chartered or rented. Why is this so important? As I said at the beginning, ZIM has about 11.6 billion assets, of which the most important assets are their vessels, around 4.4 billion, and their containers about 1.2 billion. As they rent almost all of their ships, you can rely on these assets. ZIM only has the right to use those ships, they don't own them. If you look at their liabilities, you can see these lease liabilities, which are about 4.1 billion, the money they have to pay for using the vessels. They rent the vessels, which are considered their assets, they pay money for using them, and they must return the ships at the end. You may say they have a lot of money, of about 4.6 billion, but that money will be used to pay the rent. So you can forget about their assets. They have no value to investors. What matters is how much money they can make on those assets. If you want to find out, you have to look at their freight rates. When rates are high, ZIM makes a lot of money. As you can see, rates went up a lot in 2021 and 2022 because of the pandemic and supply issues. If you look at their income during that period, you can see that ZIM has made over 4 billion in earnings and over 10 billion revenue. Now the party is over. Shipping rates have declined a lot. They are about 1400, the same level as it was in the past. And if you look at the revenue and earnings in 2018 and 2019, you can see that ZIM had no profits, and the revenue was about 3 billion. So their earnings depend on the freight rates. If they are high, ZIM makes a lot of money. If they are low, ZIM hardly makes any money. Now, what will happen to their earnings in 2023? ZIM has already provided guidance for this year. They expect between 100 and 500 million in EBIT, earnings before interest and taxes. This means the final earnings will be much lower. They may be with minus if rates keep going down. They already said that they expect the average freight rates to be significantly lower. So this great performance of high dividends paid quarter by quarter is about to end. The management said they'll pay about 50% of their earnings in dividends. But as those earnings are expected to decline, they won't have enough money to maintain their dividend. They'll pay another huge dividend if shipping rates go up again. But be aware that those high rates happened due to the pandemic. And there isn't a pandemic every year. You may see other supply issues, but don't expect rates to be as high as in 2021 and 2022. Now, ZIM still has to pay a dividend of about $6.40. This means a dividend yield of about 27% at the current price. They still have some money left from their profits. But after the dividend is paid, the stock price will decline, because their earnings are expected to go down, and ZIM won't be able to pay high dividends or any dividends. And when ZIM cuts its dividend, the stock price will go down even more. So if you want to value this company, you can't use their earnings, because they are expected to decline a lot due to lower freight rates. And they may have no profits if rates go down even lower. You can try to value their business based on their revenue, but the problem is you don't know how many ships they will keep. If demand goes down, they may reduce their fleet and make less money. If ZIM makes about 3 billion revenue, as it has in the past, then the market cap may be around 1.5 billion. Shipping rates are expected to be low and remain low for a long period, because nobody wants high shipping rates. Every government wants to keep those rates low to help trade and grow the economy. It's hard to make money in this industry, because shipping companies have high costs, plus there is depreciation. You may make some money if you can predict those shipping rates, or other supply issues that may arise. If you can predict the next pandemic, or another major supply issue, then you'll make money in this industry. And tell me in the comments, where you see this business in the next 10 years. And if you find value in this video, please give a like and subscribe to see more videos like this, because I want you to succeed.